Welcome back to Absolute Comics. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and once a week we get together and discuss all the news happening in the world of comic books and comic book related movies and properties. And today's episode is brought to you by G Fuel. If you want to get the insane energy that I bring to every podcast, make sure you get your hands on a can of G Fuel. In my hands is Sage Mode, a flavor by Naruto. Naruto himself made it.
It'll make you run with your arms behind your back.
Make you run with your arms behind your back. That's how it's going to be. But yes, today's episode is brought to you by G Fuel. And it's also brought to you by Absolutely Marvel and DC, the channel that this is hosted on. Subscribe. Help us hit 100,000 subs. We would really appreciate it. All right, so we got a lot to go through. A lot. So what I've got here in front of me is the list from Dan, and we've got like rapid fire topics that aren't related to the overall. Then we'll do the bigger ones. Does that sound good, Sal?
You bet.
Okay, if you don't know, San Diego Comic-Con just happened, and Sal and I were both there. Okay?
Yeah.
Which was incredible, and we need to brag. Let's brag, Sal. We were there.
It was awesome. We were there, and we saw and met a lot of people, and saw a lot of stuff, did a lot of things, took a lot of pictures. It was dope.
Yep. But while there, they made a few announcements. First up, Last Ronin is going to be continuing with the Lost Stories.
Yeah, as a prequel. We're getting a prequel to Last Ronin, which, like, we got in Last Ronin.
Yeah. As much as I love Last Ronin, I legit do. It's one of my favorite comic books that came out in the last recent years. I don't think we need this.
No, we don't.
At all. There aren't really a lot of questions because they filled them all the major ones in.
Yeah, I think we're getting I think that Last Ronin, The Lost Years is a stopgap between the sequel to Last Ronin and Last Ronin. I think that they were like, Last Ronin took too long to come out. Now we've got the hardcover. We need this thing because we haven't quite yet developed the sequel yet, because obviously there's a sequel, because at the end of Last Ronin, I don't want to spoil the ending, but it does say, to be continued. So, like, we know there's going to be more Last Ronin.
Yeah, but I thought that was a joke. Honestly.
I don't think so.
Because they had 4 new turtles at the end of that. And I was like, that's just like, the story never ends kind of a
That's right. Well, I mean, and that I think that works either way. Like, either that's your ending, and I think that's a perfect ending, or we're going to make more, and we're going to set it in this crazy new universe. But I think there's a stopgap, like White Knight Harley Quinn, where it was like, we had this mini-series before we had the sequel to White Knight again.
Right.
I think we're
that could
that.
be.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next topic so we can rapid fire them. And all I'm going to say is I'm excited for anything Last Ronin, but I don't think this is going to hit anywhere near as well as the last stuff did.
Are you going to get the statue?
No, I'm limiting what I could buy. When you finally come visit here, you'll see I'm out of room. I am out of room. I literally cannot display statues. We just had to move stuff around so I could fit things up there.
I know.
We don't got room. I'm running out of room.
That's fair. Okay.
And then these things are way too expensive to be like, all right, to the closet you go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like you feel it in your soul. You're like, that was $600, and it's just sitting in a box in the back room that I don't see anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next up, we got the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which, Sal and I were in the hotel across from the tavern, and we could not find a time to get into that thing. And I'm so upset. Sal.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons is having another movie, and
it looks not great.
It's a weird choice because I play Dungeons and Dragons frequently, and you know what? I've never wanted stories in the world of Dungeons and Dragons because the fact of the matter is, that's just a fantasy plot.
Well,
Dungeons and Dragons is the stories you make with your friends.
There's never been a Dungeons and Dragons story more interesting than the one you created when you were playing.
Right. Like, even when they try to flesh out the world, it's a small niche audience that gives a shit.
Right? Like, in the trailer, we see owl bears and gelatinous cubes and whatnot. It's like, yeah, those are things in the universe.
Right.
I
feel like that's what this is going to be. Like that Dungeons and Dragons movie with Marlon Wayans that came out forever ago.
Yeah, I saw that in
theaters. It's just going to be a movie in the universe, which is cool, but I don't know. Like, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I probably won't watch it until it's like available on streaming, but it doesn't look terribly gay. The party is all comprised of thieves. That's a very poorly balanced party, I got to tell you.
That sounds like something my players would do. All right, we're all going to be bards.
Right, what?
We're all going to randomize stats and no one's the healer. That's
yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I'm going to pass this over because I realized I still didn't look at, did you look up the Lord of the Rings information that came out?
No.
Okay, I didn't either. We'll do that in the trailer review because I'm pretty sure it was a trailer.
Oh, great.
Walking Dead has announced another 6-episode thing, another spin-off series.
Yes, I heard they're gonna wrap up Rick Grimes' story, which of course the comics already did. But yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
Why is that show still going, Sal?
Because I guess people are still watching it. Like it's just
But
one of those things.
I don't
where
know
I'm like,
anyone who's still watching it. That's why
No,
I'm
me either.
questioning. Like,
Me either. I know people who had watch parties for years and don't watch it anymore.
right. I watched it like that. It just I don't even remember when I fell off. I'm gonna see if I can find all of them now.
Yeah.
Like a master list. Walking Dead chronological. Oh, it's chronological. That's no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. And we're not even gonna talk about Fear the Walking Dead, that spin-off show that also I think is still going. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
There it is. Walking Dead franchise. We got The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead, The World Beyond. That's the one that just started. Tales of the Walking Dead.
Oh.
Isle of the Dead. Untitled Daryl spin-off series. Untitled Rick and Michonne spin-off series.
Sweet.
Never mind the fact that we also have the web series The Walking Dead and Fear the
Right.
Walking Dead. There was a film trilogy that got canceled. Why did it get canceled? Oh, because they're being turned into 6-episode miniseries. As we've discovered from Disney Plus, I love it when they take a movie and turn it into a 6-episode miniseries.
So great. I love 6-hour movies.
Yeah. So I'm just as shocked it's still going, and I legit don't know who's watching this. And if you were one of those fans, more power to you. I enjoyed it up until I fell off. It's gone on for 11 seasons. I fell off, I think, after the Negan plot. I think I fell off after because I remember the Negan stuff.
That's all you need. But yeah. Yeah, Walking Dead's still going.
The Keanu Reeves Berserker comic made history at San Diego, being the first actual comic book to be featured in Hall H. Oh, I didn't realize that because it's got announced to be a Netflix TV show.
What a shock! Wow, they really wanted that to be a live action thing. I would never have guessed. But
I mean,
yeah.
we've been working with the Wesley Stice project, and that's what they're aiming for too, to get that greenlit. So.
Absolutely, no, there's no question that like that's the end game for them.
But how does that make you like the comic book world feel that the first Hall H thing was the Keanu Reeves comic getting made into a TV show?
You know what? Like I'm sure that there are a lot of professionals out there who would say something to the effect of this. This would be the official log line. Comic books are comic books, and we're so excited that any comic books are getting the limelight at Hall H because any exposure is good exposure, and it will normalize the field of comic books. That's horseshit. The reality is that sucks, and the only reason why it's in any way the only reason why it was on Hall H is because they were like, "Will Keanu be there?" Like, that's
and
it.
he was. I heard he was. I heard he was on stage.
And that's it. The only reason that it was in any way celebrating comics is because Keanu Reeves attached himself to a comic book adaptation of what is clearly just a storyboard for a movie that they made into a comic book. And it's like, that blows. I wish that like Comic-Con could dedicate time in Hall H to just comic book releases. And, because that's what it's all about, and that's where it all came from, and comic books are important and valuable in their own right. But I also am like a realist, and I understand, like, you're not going to get people sleeping in the streets waiting to get into your line to read or find out about reading a comic book.
Right. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Sad. The next thing on our list here is that John Wick 4 has been announced as a trailer. We will be doing that in our trailer review show that we'll be doing on Friday. So
I haven't seen it yet. That's awesome.
I haven't either yet, just like I haven't seen Lord of the Rings. Guys, we came in late Sunday, and we are running on fumes, both of us.
Damn right.
So, like...
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't see the last one, but I heard it's fine. So...
and then we have another interview with the vampire. I did not realize they were doing this again.
Is this a sequel? I mean, like, it's called Another Interview with the Vampire, so it's got to be a sequel.
I put that on there. I put another. It's just Interview with the Vampire.
Okay.
It's
so it's
all
a remake or something.
Yeah, it's a remake. It's a TV series. Okay. I'm on board with this, because if you don't know Interview with the Vampire, it got butchered. Interview with the Vampire is originally just a book series. It got turned into 2 movies that came out a total of 8 years apart, and totally and cast are completely different.
Yeah.
So I'm
the first
excited
one's pretty good. I like the first one.
The first one is good. I didn't mind Queen of the Damned, but
Christian Slater and Kirsten Dunst and Tom Cruise.
But
like,
I'm
they're all
glad
great.
they're doing something with it, and they're going to turn it into more.
Yeah, I think that is like the original like hedonistic vampire lore, or at the very least, like it's certainly what popularized the vampire genre for a lot of readers. So I can imagine like it makes a lot of sense to readapt it or make it into a series. There's a lot of like time back and forth in that book or slash movie, so I'd imagine that like they can really spend their time delving into like period pieces and timelines and stuff like that to really like, explore the universe.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Next up, we have and more just things we're going to talk about a little bit. Daredevil Born Again is going to be 18 episodes, the longest Marvel show on the platform, previously held by WandaVision and She-Hulk in 9 episodes. I'm worried and excited that this is going to be 18 episodes. I want to talk a little bit more about this, so it's great that it's on this list here.
Yeah.
Because this could be a 2-hour movie into 18 episodes, or this could be a TV show.
I mean, I think with the 18 episodes, it is implied that like they're going to be pursuing it as a TV show. I don't know at the production level like who from the Daredevil show, if any, are returning, because Daredevil was a show. Like Daredevil straight up on Netflix was a show, and it really embraced the format. I wonder if this will as well. 18 episodes is a lot, especially for a show on streaming that comes out week to week. You know, like most Marvel and Star Wars fans have not had to wait 18 weeks for a series to end. You know, can you imagine if Obi-Wan had been 18 episodes week to week?
I mean, it'd easily be, 4.5 if it comes out weekly? 4.5 weeks?
Yeah.
So 4.5 months. 4.5 months to get the whole thing out.
4.5 months to get this whole show. I mean, which is awesome. And I hope it's explored to its fullest extent. My hope, my genuine hope of hopes when it comes to the 18 episodes is that we get more courtroom scenes. Like we get some real like courtroom drama out of Matt and company, because that's the fun of having Daredevil on TV. Like in the comics, it's kind of tedious and tough to execute like a Law and Order-esque courtroom sequence, but on TV, that's second nature. So like that'd be really cool. Plus, if you balanced it, courtroom drama and superhero drama, I think you got something there. And so I'm hopeful.
She-Hulk could show the direction they want to go with it, since he's going to be in She-Hulk, and it's going to be lawyers and drama. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about this.
Agreed.
Because we haven't seen a Disney Plus show that's gone this long. There's nothing to base this off of.
There's no precedent on Disney Plus yet for this, and that's like kind of exciting, but also like concerning because, of course, our feelings about Phase 4 are well known. There are certain series from Disney Plus, Marvel, that are like 6 episodes that could have been 4 or 5. Right. And we're talking about like quadrupling it. And it's kind of a lot.
So next up, we've got Black Panther 2 is making a big change to Namor's Atlantis. Now, we've heard the rumors on this one. This isn't like new news, but it officially is confirmed now that he will be actually tied to Aztec mythology instead, and they will have Talocan instead of Atlantis. Apparently everything else is going to remain the same, and this is all from comicbook.com, so if it isn't official yet, which I'm pretty sure it is from the trailer, but I'm not against changing Namor, because they've never done anything really interesting with Namor's Atlantis to begin with. I can't think off the top of my head, other than the recent Avengers run where he made a team in Atlantis, where they've even used Atlantis, because Namor just comes to the surface, and it's like, I'm the king of Atlantis. Where is that?
Like, when do we see that? It's very rare that we actually see him executing his kingship. And, of course, the Atlanteans themselves are, like, blue people, so it's like, you don't even look like them. How are you in charge of them? I like the idea of Atlantis. I feel like the only reason why they're making it Talocan-inspired is because they would rather not draw the comparison between Namor and Aquaman, because Aquaman is one of the few, like, really successful DC properties.
Well, yeah, I could see that. Easily. And by spinning it off, you could also go deeper into the mythology. And Aztec mythology hasn't really been explored,
No, it's true.
Atlantis
is certainly not in superhero form, yeah.
No, so it'd be interesting to see what they do with this. I'm all for this, just because Namor is pretty much a nobody. I know someone's going to argue with me. I'm a huge Namor fan, but he's had so few stories, and I mean, he should be important. I will agree, but he's not.
He's one of the first Marvel heroes / characters, and it's like he very much should be important. Of course, he's like Universal, I think, or some nonsense. So, like, who knows if they can even make a Namor movie? So maybe that's another reason. Another reason whether drawing from the original is because they're like, well, we literally can't make a Namor movie, and if we use all this stuff, then we have to like pay somebody for something.
That could be. Minimize the cost.
Yeah.
And the last of the big topics today, I'm surprised how fast we went through these, so
I
we'll probably
know.
discuss about our San Diego time. Warworld has been announced, which is a Justice League movie, which will be the first one in the Tomorrowverse, which is the timeline that was rebooted at the end of Justice League Dark.
Yes.
I thought we were already doing movies in the timeline.
We were.
I thought that new Superman thing was a part of the new timeline.
Yep.
And then we did Justice Society in the new timeline. So
Yes. Yeah. No, we did. Those are in the new timeline. Like, this is just incorrect.
no, I was like, is it incorrect? Let me look. Hold on, let me look at the actual article.
Yeah, this is the first Justice League we're going to see in this universe. But otherwise, because I think the Long Halloween is also in that universe. Yeah, it's just a new movie in the universe. It's not the first movie taking place in the Tomorrowverse timeline.
Okay, so they finally just named it, and this is gonna be the first Justice League. Okay.
Yes, because we were building towards it in the last few movies. So now we're getting a Justice League.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes more sense because I'm like, wait, what about all the stuff we did do that was implying that there's more going on?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I haven't seen Green Lantern Beware My Power yet, but I think that's also in the same universe.
Well, has it come out? I know it's coming out.
Well, I know people who've seen it, so I assumed that it was available.
That doesn't mean anything these days.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So anyway, that was all of our major topics. A few of these we're going to do trailer reviews on, so that'll be going up on Absolutely Marvel in DC. But let's tell some stories about San Diego.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
You got any you want to what did we do? That whole weekend's been a blur, Sal.
I know.
I just remember sitting at the poolside bar drinking a lot of drinks.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great. Like, yeah, the setup of like you can just go to San Diego and sit at the like pool bar and like you could conduct business and that's your San Diego Comic-Con is a really fun phenomenon. I like the fact that it's like sprawling and you can like explore the space and really like play in that area and not you can meet someone on the floor and then be like, let's do business. Let's talk in this other place and then go there.
Right.
That's one of the like clear distinctions between that and New York. Is like New York, if you leave the Javits, you better have a plan and a destination because otherwise you've got no tether. You're in the deep end. Whereas San Diego, it's like if you leave, you're like, oh, I'll find my way back.
Right. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, the trip is fun. For anybody who's ever wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con, I will say it is just like every other con, but bigger.
Yes.
Like every booth is twice the size of what it would be at a regular convention.
Absolutely. No,
but all the stuff there is the same stuff.
Same stuff. You hit the floor, same stuff. Actually, there were fewer things that are tent poles to the floor than normal. Like, if you want to get posters, normally you'll need to get a poster tube.
Right.
Usually there's at least 2 or 3 areas that sell poster tubes and poster things. There was like 1. And they were
you were having a problem finding that. That was...
I did. Ultimately, I never got one because like they were overpriced and there was only 1 and they didn't have the right size. So I was like, all right,
how did you get the posters home?
I not folded them, but I rested them inside a small bag and carried that on.
Okay. You know what I am going to tell? I got a great story for you.
All right, let's hear it.
It's going to be one of the few times that I busted out the business card. It's going to be the hotel situation.
Yeah.
So up until recently, we were working on a deal for funding for Comicstorian. It's not really an interesting story. It's mostly me going back and forth for 4 months trying to get evaluated value. That deal was locking in right before this. And so since we didn't know if we were going to have the funds to do like really go crazy at San Diego.
Yeah.
You'd like to think we're doing super well, but we're not because this is the hotel we booked. We got invited to this last second. So Sal and I grabbed a hotel that I thought was okay. And the price was still $2,500 for 2 hotel rooms for the stay of 5 days. Okay. Yeah. A lot of money.
Yeah.
Like this is to go wait at San Diego. So I come in before Sal. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go check out this hotel. I'll go check us in. I'll go check out everything. And I get dropped off. The hotel, I'm not going to name the hotel because I'm definitely not going to throw them under the bus or anything.
No.
But the hotel is located like 30, 45 minutes away from the convention center.
By foot, right?
Right, by foot. And it's like underneath a bridge and it's in the shadier side of San Diego. The houses and everything are around here, and I'm like, where the hell am I?
Yeah, because you were like, oh, I found a place about 30 minutes. It's about a 30-minute walk, and I'm like, that's practically a walk. Like, that's if I were to walk from Port Authority, maybe grab a lunch, and then walk to the Javits. Yeah, 30 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
And we were both like, that'll be fine. That'll be perfectly fine. We'll get a nice, cheap hotel, and we'll go stay there. Okay, cool. I show up. It's like 80 degrees, humid as hell. And the first thing I notice right away is I walk into the lobby. They have all the windows open and no AC. So I'm like, okay. So I make a comment like, okay, do you guys have AC in the rooms? Right? They're like, oh, yeah, we got AC machines. We got AC machines. I'm like, okay. So I'm here to check in for, Benny and Sal. They look all the information up and everything like that. They're like, oh, okay, so you guys are together. I'm like, yeah. And I hand them the business card. And they're like, okay, cool. So you guys will be sharing a bathroom. And I'm like, that's a bit weird, but okay, I can share a bathroom with Sal.
And I think you knew that too, like, because I remember you telling me, like, hey, like, oh no, you texted me when that was all happening. You're like, wait, we're sharing a bathroom? Now, if you look at the Expedia details, I knew this. Tiffany would looked at it. She read it cover to cover. She's like, you and Benny are going to be sharing a bathroom. Like, you're doing. And I assumed it was going to be like a suite kind of thing where it's like room,
right. And so when she first
room.
said that, I was like, yeah, no, I can share a room with a bathroom with Sal. We'll just be polite.
Two areas of toothbrushes. Oh, well. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a big deal. We're a couple for a weekend.
Yep, exactly. Fine by me.
Right. And she's like, and you're also sharing it with this really nice girl. She's a cosplayer. And I'm like, so we're sharing a restroom with an undetermined age woman, 2 guys in their 30s.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this isn't a recipe for disaster, but okay.
yeah. Like,
Like, okay, sure. I'm like, I was not aware that this was a shared bathroom situation.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. She's like, well, yeah, no, we are. So, yeah. So I go in the hallway, and Sal is on the far side of the building. The bathroom's in the middle, flagged as being for rooms A, H, and G or something like that. And I'm on the other side of the place.
Yeah.
I go into the room, and I'm calling it an upscaled hostel because the room is like the room to my bedroom here. It's not a hotel room. It's like that thin. It's like it's nothing. I'm like, okay. And I go in there. The channel's broken. It's on a Spanish-speaking news channel. It's the only thing it'll play, and it's at full blast. I'm like, okay.
Sweet.
I hope this can turn off.
Right. Yeah.
The windows are all open because the AC is one of the shitty ones mounted on the wall. That's not a real AC. It's just like we make cold air, and we blow it on you.
Right. Maybe.
So I lay down on the bed, and I'm texting Sal, like, were you aware this is a shared bathroom? He's like, yeah, I knew about that. I'm like, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm in the air, by the way. I'm flying in. I'm just
and I'm like, this room sucks. It's not even like a good room for $2,500. Mm-hmm. I'm basically paying for a bed, which again, not terrible, but if this is what I'm buying, I'm going farther out and getting it much cheaper.
Exactly. Exactly. We'll just Uber back to the hotel, but we'll get a nice place. Yeah. Or Uber back to the.
So I Google. Bear in mind, we just locked down the deal for funding for AMD and Comicstorian, and so I Google, and a hotel that is 5 minutes from the con has rooms, and they want $4,000. At this point, I'm doing the math on it, and I'm like, our Uber cost is gonna rack up another $1,000 easily.
Yeah.
So I go to the front desk, and I'm like, what's the refund policy? I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. And I'm married, and Sal's married, but I don't feel comfortable sharing a bathroom with a woman that I don't know who's a cosplayer. And I also forgot, I checked the bathroom to see if this is like, okay, maybe it's like segmented or something.
Yeah.
No, it's literally a 4x4 white room with a toilet and sink out in the open and a shower head, no curtain, and all the grout is orange and yellow. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, ew. it's like a prison bathroom. Like,
ew. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we're just going to have to bite the bullet. I go to the front desk. I ask her the refund policy, and she's like, well, we really can't do that because, it's a San Diego block.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to call Expedia.
And have them cancel it for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Alibi says 2 married guys and a random woman sounds like a 2000 comedy movie. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, we don't need that.
So I call up Expedia, and they put me on hold, and I just look at her and go, I'm still on hold, and I'm like, yeah, they said they're going to refund it, but they're going to charge a commission. Could you guys just do it here? She's like, I'll just take care of it. I'll refund the rooms. So then I load up all my stuff, but we're in the shady part of town, and I just started walking to the other hotel, and I like blew my hip out walking with this heavy bag on my back. And we finally get to the hotel and it's nice, but it was just like, what did we book? And why is everything so goddamn expensive?
San Diego, man.
So that's the story of the hotel. One of the funnier times.
Yeah.
Sal, what did you tell Tiffany when you were in the air?
Oh, I was like, because I'm telling her, I'm getting periodical updates from Benny, and I'm like, I feel like we're going to get, I'm going to be in a totally different hotel by the time I land.
Yeah, because I think I said to you, Sal, we locked the deal down yesterday. I'm upgrading the hotel.
Yeah. No, you weren't even, you were just like, oh man, the TV's stuck on this thing. Oh man, we're sharing a bed with this cosplayer. Oh man, I'm like, it's only going to be a few more minutes before Benny's like, no. I don't need to stay here. The only thing I was concerned about was like, either we're going to have a different hotel or he's going to have a different hotel.
Right, I'm going to leave you there.
Right, like, okay, Sal, good news. You don't have to share a bathroom with me. Bad news, you're sharing a bathroom with a cosplayer because I'm leaving. But thankfully, we both were given a better hotel. And it was great, by the way. I liked that hotel a lot.
Yeah.
If we keep going back, like, we should use that hotel.
We should, and I should book it farther out so I don't pay that astronomical amount of price for it.
Uh-huh.
So. But that's the story of our hotel situation, which was one of the funnier stories that we ended up dealing with. I'm trying to think of any other funny things. The Hall H line was ridiculous. We met up with Rob at one point, and we hung out with him Thursday. Yep. And Rob brought out his team, so he disappeared to go hang out with his team. And then Friday, we were all supposed to get a meal so he could deal with his team and do a geek, what's it called? Geek Culture Explained?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, he was doing his projects for that. Yeah. And I get a text midway through, I'm in the line for Saturday's Hall H panel. And I'm like, what? Are you still going to eat today? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. And then 2 minutes later, I apparently have to be here at 7 for a bandana thing, so I can't make it tonight. It's like, so apparently Rob stayed in the Hall H line from Friday to Saturday.
Yeah. I remember, going to a thing and then like very late, like 2:45 in the morning, I'm passing all these sleeping bodies and I just know Rob is one of them.
Yeah, we went back to he's like, because Rob hit me up at the beginning. He's like, Betty, don't you want to go wait in the Hall H line with me? And I'm like, no. And he goes, don't you want to be at Hall H? Why don't you want to be at Hall H? I'm like, because I don't feel like standing in line for a day to listen to them announce things I'll find on Twitter 2 minutes later.
Literally, I remember, like, Rob tweeted a picture of the X-Men 97 panel where he's like, look at the lineup. Not a second later, like, discussing film, tweeted a slightly better picture of the exact same thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you don't. Like,
and I've said it before. I'm not a fan of going to cons and waiting in lines. I didn't like it before Comicstorian, and I really hate it after Comicstorian. So
yeah.
I don't get
like
lines
panels
for anything.
Like I'll go to a panel if like it's featuring a person that I think is exciting, and they are, and there's going to be like a fan interaction quotient. But if it's to see an announcement, like no. I'll just get the announcement on my phone, and it'll be a little bit easier to disseminate because it'll just be bullet points on a Twitter.
I'm trying to think of anything other major. We did see the Prey movie, which apparently chat says you told him I fell asleep.
I was just saying that I was saying you were tired. And I'm like, well, and I made a joke at your expense where I was like, it was a really terrific movie that Benny fell asleep halfway through to watch. But you didn't really fall asleep because I would occasionally look over. You were tired.
So we got the invite to Prey, and I didn't realize that it was like what it was. It sounds like, hey, I got his invites to go see the Predator movie, and I'm like, oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. And I don't think anything of it. And so we're getting closer to that night, and I'm like, Sal, I am exhausted.
Yeah,
like,
I just want to go to bed. It's like Thursday, so we got in Wednesday, and then the next.
That was the most walking we did was that first day.
That's right.
We walked from 6 a.m. Yeah, because we got up to get coffee. 6 a.m. until 7 p.m.
Yeah.
We walked
for 13
non-stop. I had the step counter. It said that we burned like 4,000 calories of the amount of walking we did that day.
Yeah.
Like we were going out to eat, and I'm just like, blah, blah, blah.
It's true. So then we were like, all right, now let's go into a dimly lit room and lie and sit down.
Right. So I was messing with her contact. I was texting him like, would it be more offensive if I canceled or fell asleep?
Right. And this is not just this is not like there are screeners where you can just go to a movie theater and watch the movie, and no one involved in the movie is there.
Right, and I didn't know, but this was like, because it's going to Hulu, this was like their red carpet.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that, so we finally get there, and I'm like, oh, now I see why you were trying to drag me here.
Yeah, they had like sets built, and they had like the actors and director there, like the actors' families were there, like it was a whole thing. And it's like the first time they got to see the movie in a theater, and the last time presumably. So yeah, it was a big deal. Plus they did the Q&A, which we should have ducked out when that happened, because that was the most boring.
At that point, it was like 10:30 at night, and I was exhausted, and the amazing movie ended, and the moment that they got up there for the Q&A and they were like, we're not going to spoil the movie. I'm like, what are you going to ask?
Yeah, we just saw it. But yeah, no, we should have been like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Like,
but yeah, no, that was pretty cool. I will say I really liked Prey. Prey was probably an amazing movie for me. Not probably, it was an amazing movie, and I'm going to rewatch it when it comes out on Hulu. So definitely recommend it.
Definitely. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's a nice direction of where the Predator franchise is going. I don't think we can even review it until like the 5th. There's a review
I didn't
embargo.
look. I figured when you did something, I would do something.
Exactly. No, I tweeted that I saw it. That was the only thing I could do.
Okay, all right, cool.
Because there's no review embargo. We're good. Or there's no social media embargo. We're good on that.
We did get to go to the Eisner Awards, and I had to duck out. That was funny.
Yeah, I'd never been to the Eisners. I've been to the Harvey Awards, and the Eisner Awards are the Oscars of the comic book world. So it's like I was like, I need to see this.
Yeah,
and
we were supposed to meet up with somebody, but they were in the Eisners, and they didn't know when the Eisners were going to end. So
no, they didn't. They said, "We'll see. I'll see you after the Eisners at this hotel." And we were like, "Cool." That must be around like 9, right? More like 11:30.
So at this point, this is Friday night, and my ankle is shot because I still have it. Like, it's shot. My ankle, my hip, and my knee everything that was carrying that bag is like blown out at this point. I'm in pain right now from this.
Yeah.
And so Sal tells me where we're going, so I walk all the way over there. I get into the hotel.
Yeah.
He's like, I got us into the Eisners. We're getting into the Eisners because Sal had his press badge, so he could bring in one person. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll go sit in the Eisners. So we sat down, and we realized how early they were in the Eisners, and I look at my watch, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it.
Well, they had done 6 categories. It had been an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And there were 15 more categories to go.
Yeah, so I was like, Sal, this is really awesome. It really is. I was really thankful that I got into it, but I was like, I gotta go to bed, man.
And I was like, that's fair.
Everything hurts. It all hurts.
Yeah. No, and so Benny left. I stayed, and every once in a while I would get up, stretch my legs, and go to the bathroom. And it's funny because there was one category that I was like, I couldn't care less about this category. So I got up to go to the bathroom, and wouldn't you know it, most of the creators that like you probably read their books for also decided to go to the bathroom. So I'm in the bathroom, and like Tom Taylor's in the bathroom, Tom King is in the bathroom, Jim Zub's in the bathroom. Like I'm just like, oh hi guys, we're all peeing, and that was funny because like somebody, we didn't see who it was, but somebody went into a stall and just slammed the door closed. Like it was like they kicked the door in because they desperately needed to go, and there's just slam, and so like it's reverberating in the bathroom, and we're all just kind of standing at our urinals. And someone just goes, somebody had to go. And it was just so funny. I cackled like a witch in it. You know?
I like our Twitch chat, Darth Austin, bro's just casually in the bathroom with Tom Taylor and Tom King.
Yeah, just broing out with Tom Taylor, who I met on 3 different occasions but never introduced himself to me. Like 3 different times Tom Taylor and I are in the same vicinity. Someone is there. They're like, this is Sal. And he just, no. I'm like, fair. But that was cool. It was fun. It was a fun experience to go to the Eisners and to see it in action, watch these industry pros like interact with each other. I don't know if they're actually filmed because like Phil Lamar and the guy in the short pants from Reno 911 were the hosts, and they were great. But there were a couple of gaffes / like inappropriate remarks that I don't think are out there. Where I was like, that's worth writing down.
Right.
You know? But I did get one quote which I really enjoyed because David Mazzucchelli was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he said in his like acceptance speech, being a famous cartoonist is like being in America is like being a famous dentist. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, damn, that's
so
awesome.
I got to meet Ash, aka Bruce Campbell, which was a weird situation. So we go in day 1, and our booth, we're at the Whatnot booth because they're hosting
the Wesley Snipes thing.
They're hoping the Wesley Snipes thing. The publishing company's there, PCB Publishing. They're with Whatnot, so we're at that booth.
Yep.
And to the right of that is the Evil Dead the Game booth. Now, I've mentioned it in passing here and there, but me, Andy, Dan, and then our writer, Sean, play this game almost nightly. It's become like we get together, we play the game for an hour or 2 hours, and we just chit-chat about the day and have a good time. So we're playing this game religiously, and I'm walking by the booth, I'm like, what the fudge is Evil Dead the Game doing here in San Diego?
Yeah.
Of all the games to have a booth.
Right? Like, this game's kind of over, isn't it?
Right.
No,
not at all. No, it's an ongoing game. So don't worry. It's one of those things. But like, it came out. It's done its thing. But anyway, so I'm like, well, I see a sign, and they're like, they got the actress who played Kelly, the actor who played Ray, and they got the actor who played Ash, all coming in for signings.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I told this story in the Marvel one, but the podcast is a different audience. Sorry if you've heard the story. But I was like, I'm going to add to it. Don't worry. There's more to the story. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I go, do you guys have a PR guy, marketing community manager? And they bring him over, and he's like, can I help you? And I pull up my phone. I'm like, this is me. And I showed him my view count. I'm like, this is me. And he goes, okay. Are those your monthly views? I'm like, that's my monthly views. He goes, so what can I do for you? I'm like, I will give you free promotion if you get me a signature of the cast of Ash versus the Evil Dead. He's like, can you get in line? I'm like, I don't know. Right now, I don't know what I'm doing work-wise, and I can't devote time to get these signatures. Like, I will give you free promotion if you get me these signatures. and so they
like,
agree. Yeah, they agreed to it. But what happened is the actress for Kelly and the actor for Ray showed up, and the actor for Ray left. I think it was Pablo.
Yes,
Pablo's his name's Ray Santiago. He left early. They couldn't get anything signed.
Yeah.
But they got Dana, I think is her real name, but the actress for Kelly, they got her to sign it. So when I came in the day for Bruce Campbell, I was coming in to tell them that my schedule's kind of open until 5, so if it's easier, I can get in line. And they're like, that would be so much easier because we couldn't get Ray Santiago's signature on here because he bolted, and we were worried the same problem would happen with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
He's like, just here's a ticket. It gives you time to show up. Just come at that time. And I'm like, all right, perfect. I'll show up at the time. So I got Sal with me. I'm like, come with me just in case. Maybe we can get a photo with Bruce Campbell.
Right.
No, that thing was on lockdown. Like
they were like, where is your ticket, sir? And I'm like, I'm just holding the stuff. They're like, good. Hold it over there.
Right, right. So I end up getting in the line, and I'm standing there, and I'm waiting, and the gentleman who I thought I had been annoying for the last 2 days because I kept checking in to make sure everything was good. Because at first they were like, hey, we got to get it approved. We got to do things like that. So I didn't have a yes right away, so I kept just randomly showing up to be like, hey, have you heard back? And I look at the guy, and I'm like, it's the annoying influencer who was just trying to get a signature. And he goes, you are not the annoying influencer. Trust me. And I'm like, I wish I knew that story.
I like that. I want to know what that was all about. That's amazing.
Yeah, like who is the annoying influencer? And I get to the front of the line. Sal got pulled out. I didn't know where Sal went at this point. Like,
well, I was like, over. I'll just wait. Yeah, I was actually watching you from afar. I was like, all right, let's see you have this.
But I'm saying, like, you weren't with. I didn't know you got separated from me in the line. I didn't know they pulled you out.
Yeah, I was hoping to grab a picture of him with you, but there were people like making sure that did not happen. And I was like,
yeah, so you couldn't get photos, and the only things he would sign is the Evil Dead the Game poster or the art book. I had the art book, and I had like 2 seconds of them. It is one of the 3 times in this entire career that I've had that I've ever got too nervous to say something to somebody. Because I mean, Sal will vouch. We've met some really prolific people, and I've just been Benny. Like, I don't
exactly.
So, and I just look at him, and he's like, where do you want this signed? And I'm like, the cover, because that's where Kelly's signature was at. He goes, all right, cool. What do you want it to say? I'm like, whatever you want it to say. And he goes, all right. And then he starts drawing squiggles. Ash is sweaty. He's been fighting deadites. And he hands me the book, and they're like, you're out. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yep, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
So,
but at least
then I had to go find Sal, who vanished. And I don't know where you ended up at that point, but
I just I was like, all right. No, I was right next to you. You just didn't see me because I was trying to get a picture of him talking to you, but they were like making sure that didn't happen. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just wait. But
felt like a little kid, like meeting my idol.
Yeah. But hey, he didn't make fun of you, which I saw in a couple of interviews he did. He did every time.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah, in every interaction I saw on camera, he makes fun of the person he's talking to.
Well, I mean, he does that in everything. I've seen a few of his interviews come up, and he's just making fun of the interviewer and everything going on. They had him on IGN, and they said something about Kevin Feige not watching the show,
Yeah.
Like, hey, we'll say something that Kevin Feige wouldn't hear. He doesn't watch the show. And Bruce Campbell's reaction was, nobody watches your show.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw that too.
Wow,
it's like,
that's
fair.
harsh.
Yeah. Yeah. He's really leaned into being a movie star, which is like funny. But good stuff. Like he's great.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's our stories about San Diego. Nothing else crazy happened. We met a lot of the writers, chatted with them.
Yeah, like we had a lot of like genuine interactions with not just audience members, but also like creators and business people, and overall, like it was a very productive time. Like Benny had a meeting, on average, he had 3 meetings a day, and each time that those meetings took place, it took place either in a picturesque location like at a San Diegan poolside bar, or a high-end restaurant that was adjacent to the bar, or like a fun restaurant that had like delicious seafood. Like either way, there were business meetings conducted, and all of them were like affable and friendly. And that's like the big vibe from the show, was like there were a lot of people there. Like there were a lot of like creators there, a lot of business people there. And overall, like you could feel the overall attitude was like, this is the first time we've had a major trade show that we felt comfortable enough to be back. Yeah. Let's lock down like every business interaction we can. Like I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of like regret in the next 2 weeks. They're like, how many things did I sign myself up for?
Yeah.
Like how many people
someone
did I make
asked how the city was.
with?
The city was generally okay. We had one bad experience. We ran into Kyle Higgins, who wanted to talk to me about Radiant Black and talk to the most about Radiant Black. So we're like, well, he's like, I got to get breakfast. And we're like, we'll go with you. So we go with Kyle Higgins to go find breakfast. And we it's a struggle to begin with.
Yeah, but it's 11 in the morning, so it's fine. Like,
we finally find a place, and they're like, yeah, we don't do breakfast. You can get chicken tenders. No, it was 10 in the morning. That's why it was like, why can't we find breakfast?
It was 10 in the morning. Well, we sat down. They give us our menus. The menus have a breakfast section. It has exactly one item on it, and it's a breakfast sandwich. Those are your only options for breakfast. So Kyle orders the breakfast sandwich. They tell him, no. It is Friday. Breakfast is only served on Saturdays and Sundays at this restaurant. So he's like, oh. And they're like, yeah, you can order half the things on this menu.
It's funny.
But none of it is breakfast. We're like,
no.
What? Bizarre. Benny and I would go to the Broken Yoke the whole time for breakfast, and it was great.
No, yeah, we also went to the Water Grill, which was great for. Oh, yeah. I ended up eating the 3 nights in a row.
Yeah, we did that 3 nights in a row. We were like,
the last night I was like, we got to go elsewhere.
Yeah, we got to try something. Well, thankfully, it was also the Water Grill was closed by the time we got there. The last night we were like, let's find a place that serves food.
Well, we came back from there's only I'm known for drinking, and I don't normally get drunk or tipsy. And the only time I did was the last night, because we went to a party where they had unlimited drinks and there was going to be food. There wasn't really food. So I'm just...
No, there was hand-passed appetizers, and it was all the same stuff. Like, I was so... hand-passed appetizers at a tiki bar party, you would assume there's, like, 4 different things. Maybe 6, if it's nice.
Right.
There were 2.
So what happened is we get to this party, the tiki bar. It's the bad idea party. We get there, and I'm like, oh, there's going to be food, so I'll just go get some drinks. Because, like, I mean, I can have, like, a drink or 2 before food.
Exactly.
As long as I get the food... Yeah. I'm going to be fine. Like, but the food, they were barely coming out with it. When they did show up, it was just like, here's a piece of chicken. Here's a dipping sauce. Oh, I get 1 dip. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's right. 1 dip, 1 piece of chicken. Or you can have a shrimp. I remember I had a shrimp, and I was like, it's been 45 minutes. And I've had a piece of chicken and a shrimp. Yeah. So I ate my shrimp, and I go for a second one, and the dude with the thing looks at me like I'm I'm a jackass, and I'm like, bro.
Do you remember when they first showed up, and I literally go to the guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a lot of chicken, and I just grabbed like 4 sticks of chicken.
Yes. Yeah, and they were like, we only have like 7 pieces of chicken, like.
But, like, at that point, I had 2 Mai Tais and a whiskey, and, like, no one had given me food. I'm going to have a lot of chicken. Like, I'm just going to
eat your chicken.
I'm trying to stop some events from happening tonight.
It's ridiculous. I was like, how could you be this, like, this cheap when it comes to food? And it wasn't a bad idea, guys. You know it was the restaurant. You know the restaurant
Oh,
was
it's the restaurant 100%.
100%. The restaurant was like,
So we
no.
got back in the car, and we got back to after the party ended. We got back to the San Diego, and we're like, "Well, this place is open. Something's got to be open. Nothing's open. We can't find
No,
a
we
place."
went to 2 or 3 different places that were open, and they were like, "Oh, we stopped serving food like 2 hours ago." We're
Yeah.
like, it's like 11:30 at night, like in a major city on the weekend. How could it It's Saturday night. How could you not have a bar menu?
So, but we eventually did find some of the best wings I've ever had.
Oh my
I don't
God,
know if
those
it was
were
the
amazing.
booze or the or they were just that good, but
Having not had any booze that night, I can tell you that the wings were friggin' great.
okay, cool.
And it was also like that was a weekend where that was a 4-day span where I didn't have any vegetables. So I was like, "Can we get the hummus platter because I know it will come
is that
with
why?
at least."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "This will come with some veggies," and it did. It had celery and carrots and zucchini, and I'm like, "No." Because I'm like, we literally have had nothing but meat. We've had living creatures.
It was such a weird day too, because we ate lunch at like 2, expecting that we were going to be at the party at 8 and eat, and then so we hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, no,
So.
it was ridiculous. But overall, fantastic experience, one that I would certainly repeat. You know, you're not going to New York this year, though, so this will be your
No,
your
I'm not
biggest
going to do
show.
New York. It's just too expensive at this point. Like, if I got to pick one to dump $4,000 on a hotel room in, it's going to be San
that
Diego.
one.
That's the one I'm going to
Yeah,
do.
no,
I don't
am
want to fly
going-
across country to go to the same city I've gone to 10 years in a row. Like, I know I'm going to miss it. I know I'm going to get FOMO. I don't think I'll regret it.
No. But I will be going because I go every year, and it's literally 20. It's 45 minutes
Yeah,
away
we
from my
get
house.
down the
so it's
road
like-
from you.
Yeah.
It's like Denver Comic-Con. I would have gone to this year if somebody had mentioned it was happening.
I can't believe it. At San Diego, he goes, "When was Denver Comic Con?" They were like, "Oh, it was like last weekend." You're like, "What?"
They shot me an email. They wanted me to do stuff, and they never responded, so I never tracked when it was happening because I was like, well, I'll hear ahead of time.
Ridiculous.
So, whatever. But yeah, this has been Absolute Comics, more of a BS what we did at San Diego and all the biggest stories. Make sure if you're watching this at Absolutely Marvel and DC, you subscribe. Help us hit that 100,000 subscriber marker. We're really aiming for it. And make sure you check out our sponsor, G Fuel. Get yourself some crazy Naruto energy and run like a fool.
Run like you're in 6th grade.
Run, yeah! I'm Benny. That is Sal. We'll be back next Tuesday with another show, and we'll see you guys next time right here.